Welcome back to another portfolio update video. A lot of moves in the past month. A lot of stocks have gone up a lot in my portfolio, but some stocks have also gone down a lot. And I've also bought a lot of stocks along the way. So today we're going to go over all of the moves that all of the stocks made within my portfolios, along with all of the new stocks that I've bought over the past month, and all of the positions I've added to. So as a quick frame of reference, here's my portfolio as of last month, May 2026. But here's my updated portfolio as of June 4th, 2026. So first, let's go over all of the major moves by my stocks within the portfolio. AMD continues to just be an incredibly strong stock. I'm now up 135% on that position, and I don't see this trend breaking anytime soon. I think the numbers and the guidance that they give for Q2 are just going to be absolutely incredible, and I believe we will continue to see revenue growth, acceleration out of AMD for still at least 1 to 2 years. So I'm happy holding that stock still, not thinking of selling any shares yet. Then next we have some software stocks that are moving up and bouncing hard from their lows. We have Zeta up 40%, and we have ServiceNow up 41%. But I believe these stocks still have such a long runway of not just earnings growth, but also still multiple expansion. I believe both of those stocks are still severely undervalued, especially Zeta. But now we have two stocks in the portfolio that are not performing very well. In fact, we are down double digits on them, and that's Celsius and Elf. Now, I'm more confident than I've ever been on those two companies about their long-term trajectory, therefore their long-term stock price as well. So I'm perfectly fine being down on those stocks at the moment. And those are pretty small cap stocks, so easily within a week I could be up on those positions once the market flips. So I think they're both great buys right now, and I'm still holding for the long term. So the overall portfolio is now up 20%, up around $770, and the portfolio is now valued at $4,500. So now let's get into all of the stocks that I've bought over the past month. First stock that I bought the most of was Amazon. I bought $248 worth with one share. Now, when I first started the public portfolio, I threw out a quick thesis for every stock that I was going to add, and I kind of ranked them by where I want them to be in terms of position size in the portfolio. And in it, I ranked Amazon as first. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. If I could only own one company out of every company in the entire stock market, it would be without a doubt Amazon. So why is it not the largest part of my portfolio if I'm saying this? Well, that's because I'm admittedly being pretty greedy with what points I'm entering Amazon at. Once I added the first two shares to the portfolio, very shortly after, Amazon went on a pretty big run, went from 230 to 240 to 250, 260, and then even to 270. And though long term, whether I buy Amazon at 250, 260, 230, it doesn't really matter. For how long I'm gonna hold Amazon for, or at least planning to, being picky and greedy with what price I buy it at doesn't really matter. But at the same time, in the 260 to 270 range, I was looking at Amazon and I saw they were around a 35 trailing PE, and even their forward PE was in the low 30s. So even though Amazon is a very large company, it is in the Mag 7, so it is a pretty volatile stock for its size. So even though I don't think there's ever a bad time to buy Amazon, I feel like it's also a stock you can just continually add to over time and be a little greedy with and just wait for those small dips, or large dips. So when they were 248, I saw their trailing PE was in the low 30s, and their forward PE was even in the 20s. So at that price, I'm like, okay, we have more room for multiple expansion, and obviously the very high earnings growth that I expect out of Amazon. So just expect to see buys every now and then here and there for Amazon. Over time, it will eventually become my largest position, but again, I'm okay being patient and waiting for those small dips in Amazon. Stock number 2 I bought the most of was MasterCard, buying $160 worth. Now, anything under $520 for MasterCard I just view as a complete steal. And now being in the 470s, 480s, they're just trading so below their historical average, and I think we'll see high earnings growth plus very nice multiple expansion out of this stock. Now, I know I didn't this month, but overall, the reason I am buying so much more MasterCard and being so much more urgent with buying MasterCard over Amazon is because overall, Amazon's already a very large portion of my total overall portfolios. It's about a 10 to 13% position, while MasterCard's only around a 3% position. So I'm just being a lot more aggressive right now in building up this position. And historically, MasterCard is a lot less volatile of a company than Amazon. So once we get the multiple expansion that I believe we will get out of MasterCard, whenever that is, I believe from that point on, dips within MasterCard are going to be less common than with Amazon, and I believe it'll stabilize at a higher multiple. So with Amazon, I feel like I could take my time at this point, but with MasterCard, I'm just trying to be as urgent as possible with getting as many shares as possible. And as long as they stay at anything below 520, I will continue to keep buying them very, very aggressively. Next, we have Celsius. Spent $117 on them, buying around 4 shares. And again, I'm down a little bit on this stock, but you want to talk about a volatile stock, look no further than Celsius. In a week, this stock can be at $40, even $45. The momentum on the stock price can change so quickly. But I've talked about Celsius a lot, how bullish I am on the company. They're an incredible growth company that will just have incredible revenue and earnings per share growth over the next many years. And I believe the downside risk in the low 30s and even the high 20s is very, very minimal. So I believe Celsius is a fantastic buy right now. Next we have Elf. I bought $104 of them, buying 2 shares. Very similar situation to Celsius in a lot of ways. Fantastic growth stock, trading at a ridiculous valuation for their growth. And again, the momentum can change just like that. So I'm happy buying more Elf. Next we have Meta. I bought $62 worth of them, but I'm now going to ramp up my buys of Meta. Not that we've had some thesis-changing, revolutionary news out of Meta over the past month or anything, but all of the news that we have got, like the subscriptions and whatnot, just really reinforce my bullishness on Meta, and I really believe the stock price is not reflecting Meta's long-term growth. And I want to make it a bit of a larger position within this portfolio, so expect my Meta buys to ramp up. Next we have Zeta, bought around $50 worth of them for 3 shares. And I was buying Zeta very heavily in the mid-teens to the high teens, but now they're in the low to mid-20s. So for at least the moment, I'm gonna stop my buys on Zeta. I was buying Zeta very, very heavily in my other portfolios as well. And after its move, it is now overall the 5th largest position across all of my portfolios, with the only stocks being in front of it being Meta, Amazon, Google, and AMD. Though there's a big gap between Zeta and Meta, it is still now the 5th largest position in my portfolio. So even though I do think it is still severely undervalued, I'm up pretty significantly on the stock in the short term, and it's a very large position for me now, so I'm happy stopping my buys on them. Now if they fall below $20 again, I would likely start buying them again, but for now I'm holding off, and I've built the position to a point where I'd be happy just leaving it and letting it run. But then the final buy we have is SoFi, buying only 2 shares for $32. Now this is a company I'm very bullish on, and I think they're very undervalued at around $16. This stock should at least be in the low 20s right now, so I think they're an incredible buy. But in my opinion, this is probably the most risky stock in my portfolio, just because it's a fintech bank company. They just have inherently more risk than some of the other stocks in my portfolio, so I really want to keep them as the smallest position. So if they stay around this price point, I'll keep buying them here and there. But again, I want to keep them as my smallest position. But before we wrap up the video, I want to go over my list of stocks that I am considering adding to the public portfolio. Those stocks being Adobe, AppLovin, Nike, Uber, Mercado Libre, Microsoft, Intuit, and Netflix. All stocks I am considering adding to the public portfolio. And I'd like to be clear, I actually own several of these stocks already. In my private portfolios, I already own Adobe, Nike, Uber, and Microsoft. But as of right now, I own 0 shares of AppLovin, Mercado Libre, Intuit, or Netflix. So for stocks like Adobe, Nike, Uber, etc., again, I already own those stocks, so I would just be buying more of them and just adding them to the public portfolio. But starting with Adobe and Intuit, both of them are just trading at ridiculously cheap valuations in my opinion, and I believe they both have just grossly oversold. But starting with Adobe, what's kept me from adding them is, one, I already own so much Adobe, and I've been buying ServiceNow more heavily recently, but Adobe actually is still an overall larger position than ServiceNow for me. So I feel like I'm good on Adobe shares. I don't really want to over-diversify into them, so I probably won't be adding them to the portfolio. And I was so close to pulling the trigger on Intuit so many times. But again, same reason, I just own so many software companies. I own Adobe, I own ServiceNow, I own Microsoft. So I simply just did not want to over-diversify into software. Next we have AppLovin. Now this is a very, very interesting company. For one, they have just ridiculous growth rates, growing 59% year over year, top line, then bottom line growing even faster with 113% growth year over year. And when looking at the profit margins of this company, I don't know what word to say besides ridiculous. Going from around 20% profit margins in 2024 to now 65% profit margins? I mean, that is just genuinely ridiculous. Their profit margins were negative just in 2023. This is a truly outstanding company. And in case you're unaware, AppLovin is kind of in that marketing slash ad tech category. They're technically in the same category as like Zeta, but they are a very different company, and even what they do, who their customers are, is very, very different from Zeta. To really simplify what they do, for like mobile games and apps, AppLovin essentially chooses, well, one, they have an incredible amount in proprietary data. Two, they use what they call the Axon engine, and they get a very high return on ad spend for game developers because they know exactly who to show those gaming advertisements to and how many clicks and downloads that they'll get when giving it to certain audiences. So overall, just again, a very impressive company, but I just need to do more research on them. Next, we have Nike and Uber. Now, if you've been watching the channel for a minute, you know how I feel on these two stocks. I have stock analysis videos on both of them. I mention them both pretty often in stocks to buy videos. So again, I own both of them and I am very bullish on both of them. So my only question with them is how much more of them do I want, and do I think they'll be a good fit in the public portfolio? So still thinking on those, but next we have Mercado Libre. Now, this stock is in a somewhat similar situation with me as AppLovin is, in that I just need to do more research on them. And I absolutely love this company, but I kind of hit a wall with them where I feel like there's just this dark cloud over them and just this fog of uncertainty with the company that I might never really understand. And that's simply the fact that basically their entire business is within Latin America, and around 50% of their business is within Brazil. Now, I've done a lot of research on the core business model of Mercado Libre. What do they do? How have they achieved what they have? What their products are? What their services are? Now, I can do a whole lot of research on the political climate, on the economy of all of these countries within Latin America, and that would help a bit and give me a little more clarity. But at the same time, I've never lived in Latin America. So just to invest in a company that almost entirely operates within countries I've, one, never lived in, and two, never even been to, and those countries operate very differently than the US. I just can't really feel comfortable in a stock with that level of misunderstanding. So overall, though, I am very bullish on Mercado Libre and with the research I've done on them, with their e-commerce business, with all of their financial services and their fintech business. Again, very bullish on them, but I already have a lot of companies right now that I just understand a lot better. They operate within countries I live in and understand the political and economic climate of those geographies. And I just see plenty of opportunities that I understand better. So I'm probably gonna stay out of this one. Next, we have Microsoft. Now, Microsoft is actually the first stock that I've ever bought in. The first couple of years when I opened my first brokerage account, before I ever knew what a PE ratio was, what free cash flow was, like literally knowing nothing, I put most of my money in the S&P 500, SPY, and I only bought a couple individual stocks, and it was all companies that I believed were just some of the most established compounding machines, companies that it would be very hard to lose your money in over time. That was Microsoft, Apple, Disney, Nvidia, and Amazon. Now, obviously, Disney didn't do very well for me, but I got lucky with Nvidia. But Microsoft was the stock that I bought first, and it was the one I bought the most of. So I've been holding Microsoft for a long time, and my cost basis is in the low 300s, I believe. And I've never sold a share, but at the same time, I haven't bought a share of Microsoft in years. And since the beginning of 2025, there have been a lot of great buying opportunities with this company, whether it was Liberation Day last year in early April, or whether it's right now, or even a couple months ago when they were in the even mid to high 300s. They were a phenomenal buy then, and I believe they are a phenomenal buy today still. But the sole reason I haven't bought more of them essentially boils down to the fact that since the beginning of last year and to now, I believe there have just been better opportunities, especially with the Mag 7, than with Microsoft. Last year, I was buying Amazon and Meta pretty heavily, but I felt Google was by far the best Mag 7 stock to buy, and that was the stock I bought the most heavy last year. And again, I did view Microsoft as a good buying opportunity, but I just viewed those other three companies as better. Better risk reward, even better upside potential in my opinion. And now fast forward to today, again, I believe Microsoft is a great buy, but I just view Meta and Amazon as better ones. Meta's forward PE is 20 while Microsoft's is 23, and Meta is growing a lot faster than Microsoft. Microsoft, I believe, grew around 18 to 19% last quarter, while Meta grew 33%. And Amazon trades at a premium to both of those companies, but I believe we'll get very high earnings growth out of them, and I believe they're just one of the most safe companies in the world to invest in. There's only so many places you could put your money, and I just view Meta and Amazon as better buys. But now finally we have Netflix. This is a company that is continually on and off my radar. I've almost pulled the trigger so many times on Netflix, and after the news broke that the Warner Bros. Deal fell through with Netflix, Netflix had a huge jump up in stock price. They went well above 100 again, but since then they've lost essentially all their gains and are pretty close to the lows of when people were most bearish around the Warner Bros. Deal and the uncertainty with that. So Netflix's trailing PE is right now 25 with a 24 forward PE. And if you look at Netflix's historical PE, they typically trade in the 30s, 40s, even the 50s PE ratio. So Netflix's valuation is well below their historical average. They're still growing incredibly quickly, and this is the most diversified their revenue streams have ever been. They're more diversified across regions now, and they have a very fast growing ad tier, and they're at much higher scale than all of their competitors, so they can put a lot more into their content budget while still improving margins. So this is one I am very heavily considering. But now if I had to rank every company I just showed you on the probability that I'm going to add them to the public portfolio, I would rank them like this. Number 1 being Uber, meaning they're the company that I'm most likely to add to the portfolio. Number 2, I have Netflix. Number 3, AppLovin. Number 4, Microsoft. Number 5, Mercado Libre. Number 6, Nike. Number 7, Adobe. Number 8, Intuit. Over the next month, I'm very likely going to be adding one of these stocks to the portfolio, which would be, I believe, my 10th position. And very long term, I want to get this portfolio to about 12 to 15 positions. I feel like 10 or 12 to 15 is the sweet spot between being very diversified. So if 1 or 2 stocks are not hits, your portfolio will be fine. But at the same time, there's a fair amount of concentration, so that when 1 or 2 stocks go on huge runs, it does really bring up the portfolio. So 12 to 15 long term, I'll be adding the 10th over the next month, and it is going to be one of these stocks here. So next portfolio update, I'll go into which one I decide to go with and why. But I'm going to end this video here, but let me know down in the comments, what do you think of my portfolio? Do you think it's strengthening? Do you think it's weakening? Do you think there are any stocks I should sell out of? Any stocks I should buy? Let me know down in the comments, and I thank y'all so much for watching this video. I truly appreciate every one of you, and I will see y'all in the next one.